Welcome back for another episode of Full Retard. Today we have some Am I the A-hole questions. First up, am I the A-hole for rescinding an offer to pay for my nephew's college? By Oval Doves. My brother and sister-in-law have always struggled financially, and I never really have. My brother and I had all the same opportunities. He just had an injury that made it much harder for him to work and put him in a lot of medical debt. I've always been able to work, never had serious debt, and don't have any kids or plan on any. I did pretty well for myself and had more than enough saved to put the kid through college. So when their kid was very young and they were really stressing out over saving for college, I told them not to worry. I'd put their son through undergrad or trade school or whatever he ended up doing. That was 12 years ago, give or take. He's now a senior in high school and looking at colleges. This year I also got wiped out by the pandemic. I'm unemployed, and I don't know when or even if I'll get a job in my industry again the same as it was. I'm downsizing in all areas of my life. I'm not broke or starving or anything, but I'm being way more conservative so I can keep paying my bills until I get a new job. Part of this included having the difficult conversation with my brother and sister-in-law that I can no longer help with their son's college in the way I had initially hoped. That if I'm employed by the time he needs their first check, then I can help with a portion. But if I'm still unemployed, I can't help at all. And in any case, I can no longer pay for all of it. So he should probably apply for some scholarships or other means of funding. They were peed. That doesn't even really capture it. Enraged is more like it. They think I should be in much more dire straits before I revoke my offer, e.g. selling my house and moving somewhere smaller, working outside of my industry in a temporary job. I do still live a much more materially higher class of life than they do. So I feel like a colossal a-hole that I'm not helping their son in the way that I had planned. On the other hand, I couldn't have foreseen these circumstances in a million years. This isn't a regular recession. The world as we know it changed. But none of that is my nephew's fault. He thought he had this security all this time, and right when he needs it, it's gone. I'm devastated, but am I the a-hole? No, I don't think you're the a-hole at all. No one could have predicted that this pandemic would do what it's done and that you or all of us would be unemployed.
Right, and it's only going to get worse before it gets better.
Our next story, by Measurement Born. Am I the a-hole for not telling my fiancé we have a daughter?
I got to interrupt you right there from the title. Yes, you're the a-hole.
Mark, 38 male, and I, 28 female to male, have been together for 6 years total, engaged for 2. Irina, male to female, is currently 12, but I met her when she was 6. She is Mark's biological child. I'm her stepfather. Irina and I have always been extremely close. She started calling me dad only a couple of months into Mark and I dating. It really wasn't a surprise to me when she came out to me a trans girl. Mark was not home at the time. The two of us sat down and looked through baby girl names until we picked one she liked. She asked me not to tell Mark yet, so I never did. She wanted to come out to him when she was ready. It has been a little over a month since that happened, and I still haven't. Last night, Mark must have heard me call her Irina when I was telling her to go to bed, and he asked about it when I came to our room. I tried to talk around it, but did eventually tell him that Irina had come out. He blew up. I had expected he might be a little upset, but this was way more than I could have anticipated. I tried to explain that, since I myself am trans and he isn't, it makes sense that she would come to me about first. I understand how she's feeling more and how to talk about it. On top of that, I didn't want to go against her trust. But it's okay to go against mine, was his reply. He's always been a little self-conscious of our relationship. He's disabled, so could never play with her growing up. I obviously made up for that once I was around. Single father from the time she was born, and it took him a long time to get past it. I don't have any proof that this has anything to do with last night, but it might. We went to sleep without resolving the tension. This morning, when Irina came down for breakfast, he greeted her with, "Good morning, Irina," even though I had practically begged him last night not to let her know he knew. She immediately started crying and went back to her room without eating. Obviously, Mark isn't transphobic, but I'm not sure what the actual problem is, and now neither of them will speak to me, and I have no idea what to do. Edit. Thank you, everyone, for the advice and time from their day. It's 10 till 9 p.m. where we are, and Irina still has only left her room once to get food and go back up without speaking, so I'm going to give her until tomorrow before I try to initiate conversation. I don't want to rush her. However, I'm going to sit down with Mark soon to try and talk out how he's feeling and how we can resolve it together without putting pressure on her. Thanks again. Edit 2. After talking with Mark for a long time last night, we came to the terms that he was shocked and became irrationally defensive due to his own insecurities. I more thoroughly explained that her coming to me first has nothing to do with any favoritism and likely all to do with me knowing her situation better. He also acknowledges that addressing her by her preferred name before she was ready to hear it was extremely out of line. He has apologized to me, cried it out, and we agreed to talk to her later today. No, you're not the a-hole. Your daughter came to you in confidence because you understand it more. It was not your place to tell her father about her situation.
I can see that. But from the title, they should have picked a better title, because from the title, it definitely sounds like they're the a-hole. Thanks for tuning in to yet another episode. Be sure to subscribe and like this video on YouTube, subscribe to our podcast, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.